Hello my schoolers, you are welcome to my school channel where we are tackling the 2018 JAMB past question for biology. In this clip, we'll be tackling questions 61 to 90. So join me as we tackle question 61. The process in which plants uses sunlight to synthesize nutrients from carbon dioxide and water is called what? Locomotion can be described as movement, okay? Very similar to movement, or we can use the word movement to replace it. We have B, homeostasis, that's regulation of internal environment. We have transpiration, that is water loss or water release, okay? Then photosynthesis is what describes what fits the definition that we just saw from the question. So, option D is very correct. Photosynthesis is the process in which plants use sunlight as source of energy to synthesize nutrients from carbon dioxide and water. Option D. Question 62. Cold-blooded animals are referred to as poikilothermic. Okay, option A is the correct option. Question 63. The vessel carrying oxygenated blood to the tissues is the arteries. Okay, to be precise, the systemic arteries takes oxygenated blood or carries oxygenated blood, okay, from the left ventricle to the tissues of the body, okay, while the pulmonary artery, okay, takes low oxygen blood or low oxygenated blood from the right ventricle back to the lungs. Okay, so the correct option here is option A, the arteries. Remember that to get any of the Myschool tools so that you can be well prepared towards your coming exams, all you just have to do is to click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the Myschool website where there are enough information for you on how you can get either the Myschool mobile app or the Myschool software. So join me as we tackle question 64. Which of the following is a mixed gland? Okay, when you say a gland is a mixed gland, what does that imply? It implies that it serves both endocrine and exocrine function. And one good example is the pancreas, digestive function and regulation of blood sugar level. So the correct option here is option C. So do not forget that you have to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button and tap on bell notifications so you can get informed as soon as the next videos are released. Question 65. A group of organisms of the same species living together in a particular area is described as population. All you just have to do is to be able to have the correct definitions of each of these options, and you will realize that the correct definition just describes population. So option C is the correct option. Question 66. Ticker disease is related with the crop groundnut, okay, is caused by a fungus, okay, that you can refer to as Cercospora arachidicola, okay. So it affects groundnut. You start seeing early leaf spots and other signs and symptoms like that. So the correct option here is option C. Here we have 67. Looking at this diagram, okay, this is a life cycle of a tapeworm. Okay, so at which stage in this cycle can a man be infected? Okay, so this is an oncosphere, all right, and looking at this is a cystocecus or cystocecus, anyhow you want to pronounce it. Already you can see this cortex is invaginated inside of it. So at this stage, a man can be infected or infested, okay, with the tapeworm. So this stage is very correct based on the context of the options we are given. So we will take option B as the most viable option, stage 4. Remember that the right questions bring more clarity. All you just have to do to gain this clarity that you desire is to click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the Myschool website where you can ask your questions right now and our solution providers will help you out within moments. Okay, so right now we are tackling question 68. Total salt content in blood is about what? Okay, so we can have it about 9% by weight. So the correct option, or the most viable option from the options we are provided with, is option D. Perhaps you have a better step or explanations to any of the questions we have tackled so far. Of course, we'd like to know. All you just have to do is to use the comment section below, indicate the question number and the solution or explanation you would like to share. Question 69. The role of Scolex in tapeworm is to do what? Is for attachment to the host, okay? The Scolex can be described, or we can make it similar to the head, okay? It houses the sucker, the rostellum, with hooks, okay? So that is just basically that the Scolex is for attachment to the host. So option B is correct. Question 70. Which of the following animals is cold-blooded? Okay, so cold-blooded animals, we have the reptiles, we have the amphibians, we have the fishes. Okay, so looking at all of these options we have here, we can see that the lizard is a reptile and it is cold-blooded. Okay, so option B is very correct. Question 71. The energy released by 1 gram of glucose is what? Okay, we know that glucose here represents a form of carbohydrate, and carbohydrate, protein, 1 gram of these things I just mentioned, these items I just mentioned, okay, they produce 4 calories per gram, okay, 4 calories per gram. Then for fat releases 9 calories per gram. So if we scan through our options, we are dealing with glucose. So the correct option will be B, 4 calories per gram. So option B is very correct. 72. What is the function of trichocyst in paramecium? Okay, so the organelle for movement in paramecium is the cilia, or the cilia. We can have this trichocyst as an organelle or as a part of the paramecium that is responsible for offense or defense. Okay, so option B is correct. The organelle for excretion is the contractile vacuole. For respiration, we can refer the cell membrane, okay, through the process of diffusion. So the correct option here is option B for defense and offense. So option B is very correct. Question 73. Man can contact tapeworm through what? Through ingesting uncooked meat or undercooked meat, okay? The correct option is option A. Remember that all you have to do to get any of the Myschool tools is just to click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the Myschool website where you have further information on how you can get the Myschool mobile app or the Myschool software. So right now, let's tackle question 74. An example of a radially symmetrical organism is what? Okay. When we look at all of these options, planaria, tapeworm, okay, they are referred to as platyhelminths, and they have bilateral symmetry, okay? Even roundworm here too also has bilateral symmetry, okay? So the correct option here is option B, Hydra. As one of the examples of cnidarians, we know that they are all radially symmetrical, okay? So the correct option, for emphasis sake, is option B for Hydra. So don't forget that you have to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button and tap on bell notifications so you can get informed as soon as the next videos are uploaded. Right now we are tackling question 75. Maltose is combination of glucose and glucose, okay? Sucrose is combination of glucose and fructose. When we combine glucose and galactose, we get lactose, okay? So the correct option here is that maltose is a combination of glucose and glucose. So Option A is the correct option. Question 76. The vitamin which is important in the formation of the retinal pigments is what? Okay, part of the nourishment that the retina gets, okay, they include oxygen, they include glucose, fatty acid, and we also note that once an individual is deficient of vitamin A, it can also lead to night blindness. So the most viable option to the question given is option A for vitamin A. Question 77. In the egg of a bird, the embryo is located in the where, okay? So it's located in the yolk, okay? The yolk supplies nourishment. Also, the albumen supplies protein, okay, for tissue development. We have the S-space, all right, right there. And then we have the chalaza that puts the yolk in place, okay? So the correct option to the question we are given is option B for yolk. You just have to click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the Myschool website where our solution providers are waiting to help you out. So why not ask your questions right now? So join me as we tackle question 78. The greatest amount of energy will be obtained by the oxidation of 100 kilogram of what? Okay, so we'll recall that fats, they have the highest number or highest amount of calorie per gram. So the correct option here is option B for butter. So in case you have a better step or explanations to any of the questions we've tackled so far, please, we would like to know. All you just have to do is to use the comment section below, indicate the question number and the solutions you would like to share with us. Question 79. Ozone hole refers to what? Okay, that's just a very good description for depletion of ozone, okay? So, and this is caused by when the ozone layer is being exposed to CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. So let's go through our options together. We'll see that option C has a very good description for ozone hole, which has it as decrease in thickness of ozone layer in the stratosphere. So option C is very correct. Question 80. Accessory material in a chicken egg include the following except what? Okay, a pathway for access. Okay, we have the albumen, that is the white of the egg. We have the shell membrane, that is the outside of the shell. Then we have also the shell which houses the shell membrane. Okay, then would have the yolk too as an accessory material, but the germinal disc is just located inside of the yolk, or inside of the yolk, yeah, very well. And that is where the sperm cell comes to fertilize it so that we can have an embryo that grows up into a chick. So the germinal disc is not an accessory material. So the correct option is option D. Number 81. Swollen bleeding gums are another common sign of which vitamin deficiency? Okay, so the most viable option here is deficiency of vitamin C. Okay, can come up with signs and symptoms like swollen bleeding gums, though vitamin K too helps in blood clotting, okay, in case there's an injury or there is bleeding. Okay, so but the most viable option to this question we have here is option C for vitamin C. Question 82. Double fertilization is a unique feature of what? Of angiosperms, that is flowering plants, okay? Double fertilization can be described as where we have two male gametes, okay, being joined to or fertilizing a single female gametophyte, okay, and this has its own advantages. So the correct option here is option A for angiosperms. Question 83. The gland that is present close to the trachea is what? Okay, so here we have the hypothalamus, we have the pineal, we also have the pituitary gland, okay? We have the thyroid gland around here and very close to the trachea. And also we have the pancreas, okay, sitting somewhere around there. Then we also have the adrenal gland, okay, that's very close to the kidney. We have the testes and the ovaries. The ovaries is for the females, okay. So if we are going to identify which gland is closer or closest, we have the pancreas, it's here, we have the trachea here, okay. We have the liver is somewhat around here, okay. We have the adrenal somewhere around there, okay. Then we have the thyroid somewhere around here. So this makes option D very correct. The thyroid gland is the closest to the question we are given. Option D is correct. Remember that the link in the description below, okay, is provided for you so that you can get any of the Myschool tools. All you just have to do is to click on the link. It takes you to the Myschool website where we have enough information on how you can get the Myschool mobile app or the Myschool software. So right now we are tackling question 84. A distinguishing feature of mammals is the possession of what? Okay, the possession of hair or fur, the possession of sweat glands, the possession of mammary gland. Okay, so the correct option here is option D for hair. So please don't forget that you have to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button and tap on bell notifications so you can get informed as soon as the next videos are released. Question 85. Examples of micronutrients include the following except what? Okay, so we can classify or divide micronutrients into four. We have the macro minerals, we have the trace minerals, we have the water and the fat soluble vitamins. So we have all of these as vitamins. This biotin, okay, can also be referred to as vitamin H. Okay, so the only exception we have here is D for carbon. Okay, we can push carbon as a very strong item or building block when it comes to macronutrients. Okay, for instance, your carbohydrates. So the correct option here is option D for carbon. Number 86. Ethylation is caused by the influence of what? Okay, it's just a process of having plants growing in the place of darkness or little amount of light. Okay, and this causes the plant to produce oxygen just in a ridge in an attempt so that the stem or the part of the plant can grow so that it can reach enough sunlight. And it's just dangerous enough that once ethylation has occurred, it has a very high tendency to be permanent. Okay, so going back to the question and the option provided, we can say that ethylation is caused by the influence of the presence or absence of light. Okay, so option D is correct. Here we have 87. Botany is also known as what? Okay, botany is the branch of biology that deals with the study of plants. So that is for phytology. Okay, pedology deals with that's just studying about soil. Okay, phycology is about study of seaweeds and algae. Okay, so the correct option here is option A, phytology. For you to better understand any of the topics you've studied on your own or the ones you've seen us solve in any of the clips, all you just have to do is to use the link in the description below, okay? It takes you to the Myschool website where we have enough solution providers who are willing and ready to help you out, to give you clarifications on any question you may have at all. So we are tackling question 88. Name the blood cells in which nucleus is absent. Okay, so when you look at every other options we have here, the lymphocytes, the monocytes, the eosinophil, okay, so the correct option here is the blood platelets. Okay, so they lack nucleus, so option B is very correct. So going through any of our clips or the videos where we've tackled questions so far, perhaps you have an explanation or a better step on how we could have solved any of these questions. Please, we would like to know. All you just have to do is to use the comment section below, indicate the question number and the solutions you would like to share. Question 89. The damage to ozone layer is caused by what? Okay, this is definitely not by oxygen. Okay, so this nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide, we know that they cause acid rain. Okay, so I think the main culprits we have here is the CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. Okay, they impact a very strong damage or very bad damage to the ozone layer. They lead to ozone depletion. Okay, so the correct option here is option C, chlorofluorocarbons. Question 90. Long neck in giraffe is used to illustrate the theory of what? Okay, that's the theory of use and disuse. Okay, pushed forward by Jean Lamarck. Okay, so the correct option here is option A for use and disuse. So we've come to the end of this clip for the 2018 JAMB past question for biology, but there are definitely more years to come that we want to tackle. We believe you've enjoyed this content and you would like us to bring you more of them. All you just have to do for us is to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button and tap on bell notifications so you can get updated as soon as these videos are released just for you.